All right, so this is the Inferior Courts Act. This act is what basically provides for the magistrate courts in every district, right? And if you notice, the magistrates courts, when we end up going there, most of the time, if you ask them, hey, why am I in here? What's it for? Is it civil or criminal? They always say it's criminal. So inferior courts deals mostly with criminals, but also deals with other things too. But the reason I say this is, look, like, so the inferior courts obviously is inferior to the superior courts, right? So there's inferior, superior. So this superior court is right here, right? Senior Courts Act. And if you come here, it talks about the division on jurisdiction of the court. In section 24, it says the court shall be divided into two primary divisions, namely criminal division and civil division. Right? So there's the two divisions and jurisdictions. And a reference in this act or any other law to the court shall, where the context requires, be read and construed as a reference to the appropriate division of the court. So a lot of us go into court and we don't understand what's going on. We don't know if it's criminal, civil, and what does that even mean? So it says here, the civil division and the criminal division of the court shall be under the direction and control of the senior high court justice respectfully, who shall be answerable to the chief justice. Then it says, the civil division shall be comprised of the following. The civil division deals with constitutional and administrative law, right? That's the one division, constitutional law and administrative law. And this is where they're going to deal with matters relation to constitutional law and administrative law. Then the other division here in the civil division shall be commercial division, which shall have jurisdiction to hear and determine matters before the High Court in relation to the law of real property, the law of contracts, and the law of torts. Right, so we got constitutional, administrative, that's one division. Another one is commercial division, and then this third one is family and trust division. Family and trust, which shall have jurisdiction to hear and determine matters before the High Court in relation to probate, relation to divisions of matrimonial property, and any other matters dealing with trust and properties under constructive trust. So when in dealing with matters, constitutional matters, administrative matters, commercial division, and family and trust, this is in the civil division. And it says, this is what it has to say about criminal. It says the criminal jurisdiction, including appellate criminal jurisdiction, vested in the court shall be exercised by the criminal division of the court, and jurisdiction in all other matters. No, and then it says, and jurisdiction in all other matters that has nothing to do with criminal shall be exercised by the civil division. So now this is talking about when we go to civil. So obviously when you go in inferior courts, you notice you ask them. You get a traffic violation, you get some ticket, you get some issue where they're bringing a charge against you. You ask them, and they'll tell you it's criminal in nature. Okay, criminal, so that's in inferior courts. So people go to the courts, inferior courts, hey, my rights are being violated now, I don't have my rights being recognized, and this is a violation of Constitution, where the inferior courts is not dealing with that if it's a criminal issue. A criminal issue is basically, again, it doesn't really fully explain it here, but later on it does. But let me show you what criminal, right now I'll show you. Now, this has to do with the rules on criminal information and complaint trial. Look at this, right? Just to give you an idea. These rules may be cited as criminal information and complaints and complaint rules. A criminal information and complaint may be in the following form: the Queen versus whoever is being charged. So this is why when you look into what these inferior courts are. These inferior courts are mainly bringing somebody and charging them for offending the king. I'll show you. Look, here's a bail bond, right? Here's a bail bond. I had some court matters at the inferior court when I started learning all this. And they make you sign, right, these bail bonds. And you see, this is you can read bail bonds. They have many different types of issues that come about in court, and they make you sign a bail in order to come out. And there's a principle and surety, and therefore, if you say and the condition of the within written recognizance is such that if the said Chana Makijani personally appeared on this date right here, on this time, blah, 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 proceeding, where does it say? It's right here. It actually says it up here. It says here, but he says, severally acknowledge themselves to owe our sovereign lady the queen. And several sums right here, see? So in order to get released, you gotta go through this, because the crown is bringing. And I'll show you. I think I have more paperwork here that shows that. Look, I'll show you right here. See, this is the Belize Magistrate Court defendant right here. Look, and look who's the complainant. The crown. The crown. You see the crown representing the queen. So all these magistrate courts rulings right here, when they're bringing people, it's not in any constitutional effect or any constitutional venue. It has to do with criminal offenses that go against the king, because in these inferior courts, they're presuming everybody who's going in there as a subject inferior to the king. They offended the king, and these police officers are making all these paperworks, not knowing that they're doing this on behalf of the crown, collecting interest for the crown and collecting taxes for the crown. And you just have to look. Here's the Tax Administration and Procedure Act. Go to section 63, court proceedings. Tax that is due is payable is a debt to the crown, and is payable to the Director General. So, you gotta understand what's happening here. Gotta understand these courts, so that's why we must take time to learn. Because when we go there, see, all these systems, this legal system was set up by the crown's offices, or the crown officials, not by the people, by the crown. So we gotta understand all this. And when we go into court, our rights, our freedoms, those are protected here. And you can't get those protections from these inferior magistrate courts right here, where they bring people in and they force people to sign a promise to pay the queen in order to get released. And you know why? What they do is, this is a security. This is a security. Watch, it says it right here. Look at it's... There we go. Security. This is the high courts to see. Security means either a recognizance. What's a recognizance? Is an obligation of record entered into the court record with conditions to appear, and it is a species of bail bond or security. Security, you have to know what a security is. It's a written undertaking with or without sureties in the direction of the inferior courts, and includes the deposit. What do you deposit? You deposit money, right? Money with the inferior courts of the sum equal in amount of the sum for which a recognizance, blah 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 blah, all this shit. What they're saying right here, if you understand this language, is that these right here are contracts that they force you to sign. But this is not you promising to pay. This is this person here promising. And you say, oh, but that's you. Again, you don't understand the law. You don't know how to read these things if you think this is you. Anything in all caps, that's called a juristic person, ens legis, or an artificial entity. It's kind of like if you change this and you put a company name right here. It's in all capital letters. Same thing. because they created this in the birth certificate so they can control it, they can get to use it and claim an interest in it. But this right here is actually a security. See, I'll show you a security right here, a better one. I think I have it. Where is it? Okay, wait a minute. I thought I had it here. Yeah, you guys are getting a little preview of all my paperwork that I've done. I'm not gonna really go into details of that because you guys probably won't understand what all this means. Okay, here we go. See, this is the bail form. I see, and then it says here to provide a surety or a security, and guess what? This is the security. This is a promissory note. See, when I signed it, I did a UCC-1, UCC 1-308 without recourse and a notice of subrogation. So this, I claimed it and I assigned this. For value received, I hereby assign all rights and interest into the Belize Magistrate Court for the principal account, blah, 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 you know. So this is an instrument to assign. It's a promissory note which you can use as collateral to secure an obligation. And if the account defaults, then the trustee needs to utilize the security to settle the account. But anyway, interesting stuff once you start learning all of this.